Old. Yeah, now I'm recording, guys. Yeah, I think we missed out on Kirchhoff's junction law. It's okay. I'll try my best to record it separately and add it to this video if possible. I'll do that. But now I'm recording Kirchhoff's loop law. We are starting fresh. Imagine that way. I'll try to minimize this. Now, before we start, we need to see two equations of energy. For us, energy is potential difference V. This is one formula we can use. We can just use the indicator V for the potential difference. Also, we can also use another formula for potential difference, I into R, guys. I into R is the another formula for energy, the potential difference. So in the entire Kirchhoff's loop law equation, you have only two choices. Either use the formula V or use the formula IR. You cannot use just I, or you cannot just use resistance R in the formula. It has to be compulsorily either V or IR. So when we do this, it will be clear to you. So please observe carefully. First, I want to address sign conventions for you. And after addressing sign conventions, we'll actually speak about the main equation that we need to derive, the next page one. So let's say I want you to imagine something while doing this work, guys. I want you to imagine you are walking on this path. Let's imagine you start at this location. Let's call this location A, and let's call this location B. Okay, A and B. This battery is in between A and B. Battery is in between point A and point B. Now, you're walking in this direction. From A to B, you're walking. That's your path. It's like the park that I asked you to imagine before. So your walking direction is from A to B. Now, I want to ask you a question. When you're walking, you're faced this particular problem. You have a low potential difference, low potential over here, and you have high potential over here. So essentially what you're doing is when you're walking on this path, you're jumping from this location to this location. From the low potential location, you're jumping to the high potential location. So are you increasing your potential or are you decreasing your potential when you're walking in this path? Please tell me this, guys. Everyone, try to answer this. When I am walking from A to B, I observe the battery and I am jumping from low potential region to high potential region. So am I increasing my potential or am I decreasing my potential? Guys, it says that I am recording. It is recording right now. Yeah, it shows a recording button. Don't worry about recording right now. It's recording, so relax about recording part. Please answer this question, everyone. When I am walking from A to B, my potential is from low to high. So is it increasing or decreasing? That's my question, everyone. If you check it out, the potential is increasing. I hope, yeah. I have Himesh answering. I have Hansika answering. Everyone, please observe. Potential is increasing. There's a clear increase in potential, as you can see. So please remember this rule. When you are addressing a battery and when in your walking direction, in your path, if you're moving from low potential to high potential, that means the your potential is increasing, and you have to always take it as plus V, positive V, guys. I hope you're understanding this discussion. When the potential increases, take it as positive. Now let's imagine a different scenario. If you're moving from B to A, for example, if you're moving from B to A, let me erase this particular things. Yeah, you're moving from B to A. And this time what we have is, at this particular location, you're at high potential and you're jumping to a low potential region. So essentially, this time your potential is decreasing. When you're walking in this park, you're jumping from a big rock to a small rock. That means your potential is decreasing. So whenever you do from B to A or when from battery positive to battery negative, your potential decreases. So you have to write it as minus V. Just remember this simple thing. From decrease in potential, you have to take minus V. Increase in potential, take it as plus V. That's it, guys. Okay, that's the important part over here. Now now you understood what you have to do whenever a battery comes into picture. Whenever a battery comes into picture, observe if your potential is increasing or decreasing, positive for increase, negative for decrease. Now let's see what happens when you have a resistor. So just like this resistors that you have here, let's try to address that part. I'll carry this image to a fresh page and I'll do that over there. All right. So this is a fresh page, and let's say this particular thing is resistor R1. And I want to write all the alphabets. Now we are addressing even resistors, so let's complete this. Now I'm telling you a few rules for writing alphabets also. So I have A over here, I have B here. Then I'm putting a new alphabet. Some people prefer to use the same alphabet. Since there is no new electric component here on this particular line, some people prefer to use B, but let's go with our textbook way. Use a new alphabet whenever there's a corner. And now I'm using another alphabet here, that is D. So just remember, you have to use new alphabets in two cases. Whenever there's a corner, definitely use a new alphabet. And also make sure to use the new alphabet to cover resistors or to cover any electronic components. So what I'm trying to say is each electronic component should be between different alphabets. Battery is between A and B. Resistor 1 is in between C and D. Resistor 2 is in between D and A. Okay, so we are closing this circuit and this is resistor 2. Now observe carefully, guys. So this might become a little more complex if you don't focus. When it comes to battery, I don't have to worry about electric current direction, guys. Electric current is not important when it comes to battery. But when you want to address resistors, the current direction is extremely crucial. So we already know electric current is from battery positive to negative, our conventional current. So all these blue color lines are electric current directions. Okay. So electric current is from battery positive to negative. I'm just putting those current symbols wherever required. So that's electric current. Okay, now we have a choice. We have actually two choices. Now we started to jog. We need to make a decision. Our decision could be this way. We start from A, go to B, then to C, then to D, and go back to home. So that is one choice. That's a clockwise path. So we can run in this clockwise direction, or we have another choice, guys. That's an anti-clockwise direction starting from A, then we go to D, then to C, then to B, and then to A. So that's an anti-clockwise direction. Okay. We have two choices to run. We can take any path of your choice, but take only one path. That's preferable. Now, when we are doing this exercise, it's very, very important to understand the difference between these. So if you check out this clockwise path, what's happening to electric, this blue color writing is essentially the path you are taking. Now, let's say I'm taking this red color. Red color path is the direction of current. Direction of current, if you observe, please check the direction of current. Current is always clockwise from battery positive to negative. So in this case, if you are traveling in clockwise direction, your direction and current's direction is the same. Your direction and current direction is both the same. You are both are traveling clockwise. But if you choose anti-clockwise direction, that means if you travel from A to D, D to C, C to B, and B to A, you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, guys. So that is the important part. And here, if you choose this particular path, your direction will be opposite to the current direction. Both can be chosen, but it is opposite. That's the only thing you have to recognize. So I'm going to explain. I think we have still 15 minutes or 13 minutes left out. We can complete this example. Later session, the next session that we have, the half-an-hour session, I will ask you to show your work. I want you to complete the entire equation for this one, this particular circuit that you're seeing, and then we will prove it. Okay. So first I will complete this for this smaller circuit. Then you can try that bigger circuit of your choice, of my choice, not your choice. So please observe, guys. Okay, I have a someone raised hand. Samra, you raised the hand. Do you want to speak up? You can turn on your mic and speak up. Samra. All right, so let's move on. I don't have a reply from him. Listen carefully. What's happening over here? Now let's choose this clockwise direction, guys. A, B, C, D, A. I'm traveling in that clockwise. So observe carefully. I'm writing that equation here. Now, if you check it out, when I start traveling from A to B, when I am moving from A to B, my potential at the battery has increased. If you remember our discussion, since the potential has increased, I need to take it as plus V. By the way, this is V, the potential difference at the battery is V, plus V. Now, I'm traveling from B to C. I'm traveling from B to C. There is no electric component. So any energy wastages, we need to ignore it. It's simplified version. We need to ignore the energy changes. Now, please observe this. I'm traveling from C to D, guys. When I'm traveling from C to D, my traveling path is same as the current's path. Current is traveling from C to D, the blue color arrow, and I am also traveling in the same path. So please remember, guys, whenever your direction and the current direction is the same, please take negative. It's minus IR1. I hope it's clear, guys. This is the most important thing. When your direction and current direction is the same, please take it as minus IR1. I need to use the entire formula. For potential difference, the formula is I into R. So the energy at the resistor 1 is minus IR1. Now let's go to the next one. From D to A, I'm traveling in this direction, and current is also traveling in the same path. Since both our directions are the same, I need to take it as minus IR2. My path and the current's path is the same. And finally, I came back to my starting location. I came back to the location A. The circuit is closed. So remember Kirchhoff's loop law equation. The algebraic sum of all the potential differences of various components in a closed electric circuit should be equal to 0. So this is the final equation. V minus IR1 minus IR2 equal to 0. You can put all the minuses on one side, take common and all that, you can do that. Now let's try the second one. We are going in the reverse fashion. This time what's happening over here? Listen carefully, we are almost done. I want to travel in the anti-clockwise direction, guys. So I'm starting at A. And I'm going upwards. So if you observe carefully, I'm traveling against the current path. Current is going from D to A, but I am traveling from A to D. Whenever we have opposite directions, please take it as positive. Remember, guys, it's against intuition. If your direction, current direction are the same, take it as negative. That's what we did here. Okay. But if your direction is opposite to the current's direction, take it as positive. We are traveling from A to D. Current is traveling from D to A. So we need to take it as plus IR2. Why I? Because there's a single current in the entire circuit. It's only I. There's no I1, I2 or I3. If it's a complicated circuit with many loops, then we need to have I1, I2 and all those for every loop actually. Okay, that is done. Now let's look into the next equation, next statement. You are traveling from D to C because that is your path, guys. Check it out. You're traveling from D to C. We are doing the reverse path if you remember. So that is D to C. And current is traveling in the reverse direction in your path from C to D. When that thing happens, we need to take it as plus IR1. My path is opposite to the current's path. So that is IR1. Next, check out the next one. C to B, there are no electric components. So we are ignoring C to B. Now please observe B to A. When I am traveling from B to A, I don't have to worry about electric current's direction. The reason is battery does not have a formula for IR. We use only V for battery. So all we have to decide is it plus V or minus V. So when you're traveling from B to A, clearly observe the potential is decreasing. From high potential to low potential, your potential is decreasing. So that's the reason you have to take it as minus V. And since you travel back to A, you're closing the circuit. So your entire equation should be equated to 0. So that is the equation. And if you observe the top equation and the bottom equation, so check out this top equation, guys, and the bottom equation, they are both the same, exactly the same. Only that in this case, IR1 plus IR2 will be on the right side. Here minus V can be taken to the right side. So it's the same equation. So you don't have to do twice. Whenever you're solving problems, write the equation only once. Take anything of your choice, but make sure currents are put in the proper direction and don't ever change the current direction. Okay. So this is your work. Please draw this circuit quickly. And I want you to give me the equation in our next class. Okay. Guys, start drawing this equation, this particular circuit. I need an equation, but for practice, do both the directions. So you need to put alphabets, guys. Definitely A, B, C, D, and all those alphabets you need to place. Try out your path as clockwise and anti-clockwise also. Both of them I want you to try out. Derive the equation and both the equations should match. And the next class, we can actually discuss this and do the experiment and close our entire thing. Okay, our entire sessions. Okay, there are only 4 resistance, R1, R2, R3, and R4. So the last one is R4. It has the same current. All right, so that's it, guys. And we have 5 minutes. We can discuss about questions, anything that you want to ask. We can also talk about our class. If we could make a decision, otherwise we'll ask Amir sir to make a decision either today evening or on Wednesday. Oh, so today is Sunday, right? So we can do it on Tuesday, not on Monday, but Tuesday. But before that, any questions till now, whatever we have discussed? We're almost closing the chapter, guys. All we are left out is verifying Kirchhoff's loop law. That's it. Anyone, any questions? And you can also raise hands if you want a class today evening. Based on the number of hands, we can discuss with Amit sir and decide on a decision. I don't know if you have hand raise option. I think you should be having it. So you can try out to raise your hands if you want it today. Or you can speak up. So I have a question from Amrit. Kirchhoff's laws, are they applicable for AC currents? I would say definitely not. I mean, there are other more equations that are derived. The problem with AC currents, guys, Amrit asked me, whatever we are doing right now in this entire chapter is DC. DC means current is in a single direction. Whatever loops we are seeing, current is in a single path, right? For AC, what happens is current can travel both directions. So you don't have battery positive and negative there. We don't talk about positives and negatives for battery. Current can travel clockwise in a circuit, anti-clockwise, and it can travel 50 to 70 times in a second actually. We call it hertz, 50 hertz, 70 hertz. They can continuously travel both directions. So there using Kirchhoff's laws is extremely complex. You cannot get a broader picture with Kirchhoff's laws. So there are other diagrams. Generally, when you choose electrical engineering or electronics, that's where they'll be teaching you all this. Even in your intermediate, they'll be not addressing Kirchhoff's laws for AC currents because it's too complicated. There are much simpler ways to solve problems using not only Kirchhoff's laws, but many other laws. You'll hear something called a Wheatstone bridge, a simplification method in your intermediate. And there are hundreds of other methods. There are some popular ones that will be addressed in your engineering actually. Okay, so to brief your question, Amrit, Kirchhoff's laws, in my opinion, is too complex for the AC currents, analyzing AC currents. All right, so I'll speak to Amir sir and he will inform you when to have the class because I only have one person raising the hand for today evening's class. So let sir make the decision and based on that, either today at 4 o'clock or Tuesday at 4 o'clock, one of those. Today 4 o'clock or Tuesday at 4 o'clock, only half an hour to close our Kirchhoff's loop law. By the way, Kirchhoff's loop law is favorite for your board exams. They ask that question a lot actually, either for 2 marks or 4 marks. So don't miss out on that last lecture only for half an hour. If you don't have any questions, if you have questions, that will get extended. All right. Any other questions, Amarnath, Hansika, anyone? If there is some other mechanism that you are curious about, I will look into those mechanisms and we can talk those. I like the Amarnath's question of finding the mechanism for that particular MCB. I expect it to be too complicated. It turned out to be very simple. I had fun researching on that one. And that's what is research, guys. Just delve into those and you can have a lot of fun, enjoy like how it's designed, what principles were utilized and all that. It's called application oriented learning. So you're learning with the help of applications that's already designed and manufactured. All right. So yeah, with that, we can actually close it for today. All right, guys. So let's call it off, and I'll post all the videos today itself. Maybe from half an hour or so, I'll work on that, and all the videos will be available. Whatever are missed out, I will add them a little later. All right. So goodbye for today. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy, everyone.